Now we're going to look at parallel signal paths and how you can use them to quickly change the character of your sound, just setting up two different tonal paths for the oscillators to feed through, and then using macros to simply switch from one to the other. I've got a couple of sounds to do something like this. I'll just quickly set one up for you. We'll use a soft thing like a triangle, so I'm not shouting over the buzz. Okay, bit delay. Okay, arpeggiator on. Let's have a shorter sound. Okay. Okay, I'm going to leave that running so I can just work away. I'll turn it up again when you need to hear stuff. So the first thing is that I want to switch the filters from series, where the sound is fed into filter 1 and then filter 2. I want to switch it to parallel. So now the sound is fed separately into 1 and also into 2 at the same time. They're both receiving the same dry waveform straight out of oscillator 1. Okay, now we're going to leave filter 1 set to just nothing, because I just want a nice dry sound there. And filter 2, I want to make something overdriven and filtered down. So let's just quickly set something by eye, and then we'll feed it into it. So currently, oscillator 1 is just being sent from the filter mix solely to filter 1. But I can now switch it to 2. So you can hear you've got two sort of radically different tonal settings for that sound. So you can mess around, get the sort of desired sound you want on filter 2. Okay, as well as that original waveform, I want to get some other stuff going on. So we're going to get a sine wave in, put it up a couple of octaves and see how that sounds quietly. Now similarly, this can be fed between filter 1 and filter 2. And you can hear that the sort of tonality changes quite dramatically when I do that. So now we've got these two waveforms, both feeding either into 1 or 2. Sweeping from one to the other with two waveforms is now a bit of a fiddle. So all we do is go to oscillator 1 and we set up a macro. So macro 1 is now controlling the filter mix on oscillator 1, and again on oscillator 2, macro 1 controlling the filter mix. And simply now when I move the macro, we're going to move from the dry sound on filter 1. Both oscillators are going to sweep across to the processed overdriven sound on filter 2. So you can hear there, simply by using the two filters, separate signal, parallel paths, all you're doing is giving yourself a really quick way to modulate that sound. Once you've done all this setting up, you're down to a single macro control to create that tonal difference. And obviously, the wilder the difference between the two filters you set up, the greater that change is going to be. I've gone for something quite sort of subtle and overdriven there. Obviously, you can go for something quite dramatically different. We can have a low pass on 1 and a high pass on 2. Put the arpeggiator back on. So there you go, a quick way to basically set up the modulation effect that isn't just the old opening the cutoff and closing the cutoff. Your sound changes as much as you want from one setting to another, simply on a single macro.
Thanks everybody for watching, commenting and indeed liking. We really do appreciate all the support we get here on our Sonic Academy YouTube channel. So if you found this video super useful, please, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button. We update the YouTube channel every week with new content. And if you want to watch some more relevant content, just click on the videos beside me.